Scottish Car Clan. Modern cars need hackers, not mechanics. And he makes some relevant points in this vid. He's worth a subscribe, although he never talks about that bigger picture. Although, look, he's trying to get on in YouTube. I get it. Yeah, absolutely. And has he got some good advice about, buying cars, especially, let's be honest, more the low end, and for good reason, more relatable to many motorists out there. Yeah, especially in these very trying times. And by the day, things are getting changed, so whether you can drive into a city, no, I'm sorry, it doesn't pass this or that, and blah, blah, blah. And perfectly fine, serviceable vehicles are being scrapped, and it's deliberate and by design. And so I'd watched this earlier, and I'd said, all part of Agenda 21. Now, I could have said many other things, but in this day and age especially, just managing to get a comment seen gets tougher by the day. And I haven't even thumbed up myself, it had 12 thumbs up, and then somebody put followed by Agenda 2030. Okay, I mean, I'll thumb it up in the sense that, yeah, Agenda 2030 is part of Agenda 21, but I keep emphasizing to people, we're in it. It's not, it's coming. No, we're in it. Yeah. What you're seeing is the rollout of Agenda 21 constantly. And so maybe under fair use, let's see if I can get away with that. Please some of the following, stopping occasionally for comment.
Is push the button. Now, if you think I should be wearing a tinfoil hat saying that, do me a favor. The kill switch is already in your car. All they need to do is push the button.
Well, I've been saying that for a very long time because, so many devices, and let's face it, they've turned cars into an extension of devices. I mean, I keep saying to people, would you trust your laptop battery for more than a few years? And remember, laptops of old, at least you had the option to replace the battery. In many instances, the battery's, embedded in or whatever. And in amongst so many other things, less USB options, yeah. And people go, oh no, that's old hat's got USB 3. I get it, right? But, actual points of connections, the availability of different options to connect, yeah. Not least of which, RG45. Cable connection, easiest by far. How many laptops these days even offer you that? So then you have to go and buy a separate dongle, blah, 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 whatever. And that's only the ones that are even in the remotest, even in the slightest bit clued up. Because it's astounding how many to this day profess to be in some way, shape, awake, but they're irradiating themselves constantly through Wi-Fi. But this witchcraft of convenience. Yeah. Anyway. Yeah, kill switches.
Now, if you think I should be wearing a tinfoil hat saying that, do me a favour. Watch this video, listen to the real world examples I'm going to cover, and then make your mind up. If you still believe it to be the case, then let me have it in the comments below. Okay, so back in December, hundreds of Porsches went dead. Simultaneously. This happened in Russia. You might already seen it. So owners were putting the key in, the dash would light up, the engine would start, and then just die. Hundreds of them. Suddenly, exact same symptoms, no explanation. Now at this point, you can imagine the theories on what had happened, they ran amok. Was this an active move by Porsche to brick those cars? Was it a problem with the 3G network? Was it a sophisticated cyber attack? Or was it just a plain old fault?
No, I mean, I've seen examples where, for example, Porsche Taycan drivers, when they bought the car, whether it new or second-hand or whatever, it had, for example, keyless entry. I would never fucking thank you for that at all. Seriously, I keep saying to people, Do you not get that you're sitting in a field, an energetic field? It's pulsing away looking for your key. You know, cell structure, biology, you don't seem to give a flying fuck about that. I just can't be arsed putting even a fob into, like, a key. You know, not having the fucking car irradiate you. And the convenience, honestly, I swear. How dumb does a population have to be to not be concerned that you walk up to a car so it's emitting some energetic field, constantly looking for your car key so that you can open your car without having to, well, even press a fucking button or turn a key. Honestly, and I would say, look, there is data out there somewhere that used to be so easy to find, where they were finding that car manufacturing workers who were, you know, at the front of the cars with the radar systems, their testosterone levels, their bloody fertility, their sperm counts were going through the fucking floor. There's no mistake that people are becoming, well, less manly by the day. It's not just male, you know, hormone levels, it's females as well. You're barraging yourself in fields of shenanigans for the sake of convenience.
Well, bear in mind, Russia are under sanctions. There's no official Porsche support there. So owners, they were left to figure out why their 80, 90,000 pound car had suddenly, overnight, just become a big paperweight. Now here's where it gets really quite significant. You get a problem with your car, who do you call? You go see the mechanic, don't you? You call up your local mechanic. Only, the situation with these Porsches, there was no mechanical problem here. Something computational was stopping these cars from running, a scenario that we're starting to see more and more with modern cars.
I mean, you don't own. Remember, this ties into you'll own nothing and you better be bloody happy. And whatever you perceive you're buying now, it's not actually yours because, you know, a key press, a code, boing, doink, that's you out of action. Seriously. I wonder why so many occultists were going retro as regards vehicles, resto mods, certain 4x4s, blah, blah, blah. You know, they were spending decent money, you know, making it really nice, whatever those vehicles were, and much in the way of modern aspects of it, reliability-wise, very little plastic parts. That's another thing that, while the main customer base is having to, well, naively accepts, and maybe many of them are clueless to it. You look at BMWs, many part of BMW, VW as a group, you know, Audi and all the rest of it. How many of their engines have got so many plastic parts going through so many heat cycles knowing that they will not last? And people just bend over and take it. They have no idea about any of that. They just don't think. Then add all these different radar, blah, blah, blah. I mean, I could give you examples I saw in the last few days about some bloody Porsche with a night vision assist. I think it's a great idea. As you're driving along, it points out, you know, a deer, for example, or all the rest of it. Well, that's a great safety feature. But because the lens is like literally sitting in front of the car, and, you know, all it takes is a chip, right? You know, they were quoted $5,500 in dollars. $5,500 in dollars because of this. I mean, you'd think if they've designed all this, well, why the fuck would it not either be in the car, yeah, behind the windscreen, or have something calibrated, you know, in front of it, but just as a form of protection, yeah? So that all you need to do is just replace that. Seriously. You could go on about this for quite literally years, never mind hours and days. It's frightening what people are like, oh, this is so convenient. Oh, this is great. I'll have that. Until any of it needs replaced. And then they go, right, okay, well, you know, companies like Porsche, it's the add-on, so we'll go with the Chinese. But most of what the Chinese are pushing across here just now is all EVs, yeah? And none of it's recyclable, and talk about support or anything like that, and it's just a glorified paperweight. And the naivety that, instead of a combustion engine, if I just have an EV, it's going to cost far less on servicing. That's not the case. Apparently, you have to check all the bloody batteries. Cha-ching! And then it's software updates, and as he's pointing out, if you're not in that range, or if you've suddenly said the wrong thing online, bang.
Anyway, so, who do you contact when you need to solve a software problem, but you don't have the authorized access? You don't have the main dealer software. Well, you're going to need a hacker. And that is exactly who these owners turn to. So these hackers, they determined that a specific part of the immobilizer needs to be in constant communication with the Porsche servers.
Think about that. And these constant updates, because people have been groomed for decades. Update. Not all updates are a benefit.
So every time that car starts up, it needs to go and get the green light to do so.
Think about that. Porsche, or whatever company, or think about a government. Every time you start your car, have you been a good boy or girl? Have you behaved yourself? Have you said the right things? More importantly, not said the wrong things. Seriously, there is no end to the level of control on steroids about all this. And people are just sleepwalking into it.
Was blocking that communication, so the cars wouldn't run. They figured out a way to bypass that need for authentication, essentially trick the car into thinking it was receiving that green light, and voila, the cars ran. They then distributed this as their own software update for the affected cars to get the owners back in the road. Just incredible work on their part.
Yeah, fair play to them. But how did we get here? Seriously. How did we get here? Honestly, it's funny, even people like Clarkson and others, they're looking back with fondness at least 10 years and plus more, where less to go wrong, and yet still great driving vehicles, blah, 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 all the rest, etc., etc. Even when you're seeing a lot of newer cars now in regards suspension, yeah, again, you could think of Porsche with that PASM or whatever, it was Damien Butt from the Car Guys TV, good channel by the way. He pointed out that on his Porsches, his 911s, these things packed in like within a matter of 2 or 3 years. Out of warranty, bang, gone. What was it? I think he said they're quoted over £1,000 a pop. £1,000. And all of this can be, let's be honest, if it all has to, you can't even, and as this fine channel points out, you can't even change a light bulb sometimes in modern cars without having to be at a dealership and unbelievable prices.
Resourceful, the kind of people that we're going to need. Now, whether this was a malicious attack or just a glitch, it's kind of beside the point. The overwhelming issue here is that modern cars in general, not just Porsches, but just about any brand that you care to mention, now have some degree of dependency on external infrastructure.
And then remember, add to that, well, I've said before to you about the things like the Tesco club cards that are, this was quoted in the last couple of years or so, but they were making something like 300 plus, 3 or maybe much more than that now, $1 million a year selling your data to insurance companies and whatever else. And meanwhile, you have no idea that you're quite literally, why is it going up and up and up? Because you're giving them data about what you eat and all the rest of it, blah, blah, blah. There is nothing beneficial about you having these club cards because you're actually, you think, I've got that cheaper. Yeah? You're literally giving them, a complete day-to-day record of what you eat and buy and all the rest of it. And then you tie it into a social credit score. But how do you get the Muppets there? Mate, I've spoke to people in Tesco's and went, you do realise that data is going to cost you? Well, they're all taking data and all of us anyway. I'm like, honest, jeez. And then add to that, as I said, about monitoring how do you get the 15-minute cities? You're literally surrounded by towers that are monitoring your car, your phone, even if it's switched off because it's got a chip, blah, blah, blah. Honestly, we need to embrace common sense and just go back a few decades where things, in so many ways, were working so much better for all of us, and just fine tune longevity of everything from ourselves to the vehicles we use and the durability, etc., etc. Go back to simplistic things that work.
Now, whether that's through over the air updates, whether that's through connected services, subscription services, call it what you want, the outcome is the same. Cars are no longer independent machines.
They're no longer yours. And as I've said before, I'll say it again, I'll say it in the future, please read Atlas Shrugged. Because when you realise this, you read it over time, and it's a long-winded story, but fuck me. Ultimately, things are deliberately being destroyed from within to bring order out of chaos. I mean, really. Imagine, for example, EVs alone, but not exclusive to just EVs. He's literally telling you about other vehicles. And then just suddenly, it's not going to start. It doesn't matter if the AA guy or whoever else turns up. They're not going to be able to sort it either. Now imagine tens of thousands of cars. How about hundreds of thousands of cars all over road networks just sitting there that can't move? How quickly do things really go south? There is no end to where this goes. As always, I could do a better job, but I still think I deserve a sub. I'll leave you a link to that. I recommend you sub to his channel. You've been great company, and I'll speak to you soon.